Elon, if you keep selling shares, you're going to lose control. I'm telling you, man. Well, one second here, guys. So you got to be careful because there are going to be a lot of sharks that swoop in, and you're looking pretty bad right now. So anyway, we'll talk about this later. So hey, guys, I was just talking to Elon. You may have just heard the news. Elon sold about $3.5 billion worth of Tesla stock, and this is really crazy because there's a possibility he might lose control. I was looking at the numbers for myself, so it looks like a couple years ago, back in say 2019, the numbers that I can see is that he had about 20% ownership in Tesla. As of now, as reported, because he's been selling and dumping tons and tons of shares, he's down to about 13% ownership. So the question is, could he actually lose control of Tesla? Is he planning to step down as CEO? Now, we've saw a report before that essentially said that he has picked a successor. This is all reports, right? So we'll see it when we see it, but put all this stuff together, it puts a narrative that sort of makes sense, that he sort of picked someone that think could carry the burden for him over at Tesla. He's selling his ownership of Tesla also too. He brought essentially one of the executives from China who was in charge of the Chinese plants, and then was essentially training him how to use and operate the plants in the USA. So it feels like he's shouldering much of the burden. And the thing that's kind of crazy about this, and I know there's a lot of people who are Elon Musk fanboys or fangirls, and I know there's a lot of Tesla pumpers out there, is how could you possibly spin this as good? That your hero once had say 20% ownership, now only has 30% ownership of the company. Like if he believes so much in the company, like he wouldn't be selling stock. One of the things I think is really important to understand is that when he took over Twitter, and it was a price of like what, $44 billion, he had to take on $13 billion of debt with the company. And the reports were, the way the deal was structured, it was like $1 billion a year in just interest, which is pretty crazy. It's a lot of money, right? Just interest. The other thing that's also we've been getting reports about is that the banks in on the deal have been nervous that Twitter isn't going to pay them back. And essentially not good for the money. And so one of the things that they've were saying, as we looked at reports before, some of the loans were essentially unsecured. So they were already kind of pressuring him to sell stock, right, in Tesla in order to essentially make sure that they're going to get their money back, because they're worried. Because one of the things that's also going on, this whole story is crazy, is Twitter hasn't been paying their bills. They haven't been paying their rent. There was just a report yesterday. We also know now that, like we talked about, they fired cooks. The janitors were like striking, so they fired them. And then now they've been selling off some of their assets, like desks and chairs and coffee makers and Coke machines. I'm not making this stuff up. And order to raise cash. And now Elon is also selling ownership in Tesla. So for me, if let's say I'm a super Tesla fan and a super fanboy fangirl, I would be concerned if your CEO is just like dumping shares to get out of essentially ownership. And I'm wondering if he could lose control because another entity could come in and just take it over. And what's interesting, that's really fascinating about the story, is that for many people who are interested in Tesla, believe in Tesla because of Elon Musk, right? If suddenly Elon Musk is not the CEO, does it still have that same glisten? Are you going to still be pumping up Tesla without Elon Musk? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on that thing, because then the question becomes, does it become just another car company? Are you a Tesla fan or are you an Elon Musk fan? And what I feel like is happening is that a lot of these people are really more loyal to Elon than they are Tesla, which is really interesting. It's going to be a big division between the Tesla fanboys and fangirls. Which one do they love more? Can you love them equally more? Please share in the comments your thoughts, because what I've been noticing happening on all over the social media space and stuff like that is when Elon Musk took over Twitter, suddenly all of the Tesla fanboys and fangirls suddenly then become Twitter fanboys and fangirls, which is great. It's fine, right? Whatever. But here's the thing. And it was very similar to Tesla that we're seeing over at Twitter. Tesla has been overvalued for quite a long time. Now, what is the value of a company? Well, generally seeing, you say, okay, you make this amount of money, the stock is worth amount this much. But if people also say, hey, I just love the stock, I want to buy the stock, it's fun to buy the stock, and stuff like that, yes, you can certainly put a value on how much you're willing to pay for it. However, if the CEO of said company is just mostly dumping shares and we're going in a down economy, right? Do you think people want to buy expensive cars when interest rates are going up? Also, too, we know that the economies are slowing in USA. We know it's slowing in China. We know it's slowing in Europe. And we also know that material costs are soaring, right? So, for example, if you want to build an electric vehicle, lithium is really expensive. And also, too, this is related. Competition is coming. We just reported recently that like the Toyota Prius, it looks pretty good, the new one. I'm serious, because like normally I don't say that. Usually Toyota Priuses are pretty ugly. It's just the reality. However, the new one actually looks pretty good. And then also too, you know, waiting the wings, you're gonna have Volkswagen jump on board with more EVs. You're gonna have Honda jump on board with more EVs. You're gonna have more companies be like, yo, we're getting into this EV space. So who knows? For all we know, maybe Elon Musk was like, you know what? There's a lot of competition coming. Time to sell my stock in Tesla, take my money, run away, let my fanboys and fangirls give me their money, and I'll laugh all the way to the bank. But I do think it's significant when your beloved CEO used to have 20%, now only has 13% ownership. And you know what's going to happen with this thing? What I think is going on is that Elon's basically pissed off a lot of employees, and we keep getting leak after leak after leak after leak. And Elon himself even threatened employees. He said, "Hey everyone, if you keep leaking to the press, I'm going to fire you ASAP." But people I think are pretty pissed. The other thing too, which I think Twitter is also facing as well, it is a software company, is a platform, and if you piss off enough employees, like you're dealing with people that literally know how your security protocols work. The report that I just talked about, just the last video, where now the rumors that Elon Musk wants to sell your user data, your location, and even your contacts data. I mean, I think that things are going really, really bad over there. So let me know, what do you think about this? Elon Musk sold another 22 million shares, 3.5 billion worth. He's losing his hold on the company. Do you think this is good for Tesla? Do you think this is bad for Tesla? And what do you think about Elon Musk now? Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys next video.